Time to shine today, varsity squad. It is Scott Ferguson, and I get to bring on a guest that's near and dear to my background, my profession in real estate. But this guy's forgot more about commercial real estate than I'll ever care to know. But I know there are people out there that want to know about commercial real estate. A lot of my listeners have reached out and said, bro, bring on a commercial broker, bring on a commercial investor. Well, now your wish is my command, lack of a better term, but it is. And I got my guy, Brooks O'Hearn, and me and Brooks actually connected on Instagram. This is my first interview that I actually connected with someone on Instagram first. And he had liked one of my podcast drops or something. I just asked him for an interview, and he's grateful enough to do it. He said he ran out and got a mic, so he can start getting on podcasts. So, here he is. Brooks started flipping houses in 2013 with his family. Since flipping over 30 million in real estate, coaching over 1,000 investors on digital marketing, he has shifted his focus into buying and flipping underperforming apartment buildings, and he is a rock star. And he also will give you 5 proven ways to generate passive income on your first deal. Just go to his website, which I'll put in the show notes, shamrockcapitalgroupllc.com. And Brooks, come on, introduce yourself to Varsity Squad. But first, what is your favorite color and why?
Ooh, I'd have to say red is the favorite color.
Really?
And I don't know. They always say that the mentality behind it is power or anything like that. I don't know about all that, but I love the Sunday red for Tiger Woods.
It's a finishing color. It gets it done. But
yeah.
I'm baffled though. Shamrock, you think it'd be green, but we'll let you roll with red.
Yep.
Awesome, brother. So let's get into the origins of Brooks. I mean, you're a relatively young man. You're out there killing it, crushing it, and flipping over 30 mil in real estate. So let's get to the origins of it. How did we get that started and leveling up to that?
Yeah. So it started when I was young in high school. My parents, I could trace it back to a handful of things, but really one thing is they stuck the book Rich Dad Poor Dad in front of me.
The purple book.
As a kid. Yep. As a kid in high school. So my parents recognized that I didn't read really any books in high school that were assigned. So they said, here, try this one. Let's see what you do with it. And then that morphed into, we started taking Cash Flow, the game, onto family vacations. I remember we would always
the rat race.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Baby.
We'd pack the Cash Flow game and go on vacations. And then, I started studying more and more about real estate and getting into it. And then as I got into college, I started realizing like, this is not translating into a real estate career.
Right.
And so I was transferring from junior college where I was actually playing golf. And then I was transferring to 4-year university. I ended up taking a semester off. And as they say, don't ever take a semester off because you'll never go back. Mm-hmm. And that was absolutely true. So I didn't go back. In fact, in that semester, I started really making steps and realizing what an action plan would need to be to jump into real estate. I approached my parents with the plan, in long story short, of you have all the money and I have all the time, so let's make something work. And they bought it. We started the company. Of course, then we went out and sought mentors and coaches on our own. And then, that kicked off. We bought our first property like 1 week shy of my 21st birthday.
Okay.
And
single family house?
Yes, that was a single family house, and it was actually down in Colorado Springs, Colorado, which is about an hour south of us.
Okay.
Back then we paid $70,000 for the house, and translate that into just a couple of years ago, one of our recent purchases. Actually, we had this like string of 4 or 5 purchases right in a row. At 775, like wow. It was like 775, 777, 780, like right in there. It was what we were buying properties at. So,
wow,
it grew 10x from that point. So, that's a very short description of how I got in, but through, always learning and it was kicked off with my parents really.
So why the change from really like single family doors into the apartment buildings as a focus? I'm sure that if a hell of a deal came across your desk in single family, you might still move on it, but like why really starting to focus in on apartment buildings?
Definitely. Yeah. Great question. So, and we do still flip, some single families from time to time here. But the real thing was we had this aha moment, this light bulb moment where we we realized that, as you're flipping 4 properties at a time that are, you purchased for $700,000. There's a lot of money going out every single month. I mean, you're writing huge checks and it's stressful. I mean,
Sure.
you've got that much money on the line. You've got then millions of dollars in construction to renovate those 6,000 square feet homes, right?
Yeah.
And so you've just got so many checks going outward, and then you wait until the end of the project, and then the project finally pays you back. And what we realized was, I started doing some research and realizing that, hey, there are apartment buildings that we could purchase at $800,000. And those apartment buildings need renovation that we already know based on our skill set.
Right.
Those apartment buildings need to be repositioned with more of a, flipping a business, right? You've got to flip the asset, not just the 4 walls inside of it. And that thing, it pays you the entire time, right? Sure. While I'm doing renovations in 2 of the 25 units in this building, the other 23 tenants are still paying us.
Sure.
Right.
Right.
So it was just more feasible to, put our investments over there and then focus more on just the apartment side and the cash flowing assets that are going to pay us the entire time.
Are you holding the apartments, Brooks?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
we do. So so we'll flip them, and it's more of the BRRR model. So I'm sure you know the BRRR model, but for anybody that's listening that doesn't, it's buy, renovate, rent, and then refinance. Some people throw an extra R in there for repeat, but if we buy it, we'll buy it with construction funds or a bridge loan, and then flip it over the course of a year or 2, get it stabilized, take it to a bank, refinance it out. And, a lot of times us, and then some of our partners, will be able to cash out and keep it long-term.
You're just going to say, do you pull money out on that refinance to maybe roll it into another project?
The goal is yes, absolutely.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. So what do you think makes a great investor?
Somebody
Real
who can
estate investor, we'll say.
Yeah. Good question. So somebody who can go with the flow. I mean, you gotta handle some stuff. You've got to be able to handle the stress. It's definitely a high stress gig, with a lot of money on the line, and you have to be pretty level headed. You've got to be able to respond and react to change. And then I also believe you have to surround yourself with the right team. So you can't do it all. And any of these big investors that you see on TV or that have any coaching or anything, those guys have a bigger and better team around them.
Sure.
They just happen to be the pretty face.
Right. Right.
And the smart mind that pulls the right levers.
So who's on your team besides yourself?
Yeah. So my family is an integral part. I mentioned my parents got started with me. My brother was actually still in high school when we started the company, but now he has come on, and he has joined us full time. We also have an office manager, and then we have just numerous contractors that help us, obviously. And then we have a large team of private investors and partners that partner with us. So
Beautiful.
It's not like we have $30 million sitting in the bank that we're throwing at some of these projects, right? It takes leverage, and then of course bank relationships, and then I always say some of the realtors and brokers, right? Yes, I'm a realtor myself, but I know I can't find every property. So that network of lead generation is integral. So it really it's a huge team when you really look at it.
Sure.
And then, but if people were to look at us, they're like, well, there's only 5 of you, kind of on the payroll of of Shamrock Capital. Right.
Are you guys Colorado only right now, or are you guys expanded?
Yeah. So actually as far as apartment purchases, we don't do anything in Colorado. We just do our single family stuff in Colorado. For apartment purchases, we have Kansas City and Omaha are a couple of our target markets. Yeah. So some family ties back to the Midwest, but just, the numbers make more sense. And those markets are still emerging. Denver has kind of been, the secret's out about Denver, right? Yeah. The secret's out. everybody
Gotcha.
has their opinions, but people travel here once and they're like, well, we know it's Denver, it's beautiful, and it's not the frozen tundra.
So if you're bringing in like as someone into your program into commercial real estate and how to learn, what is some of the secret sauce that you provide for helping these investors find their blind spots?
Absolutely. So we really uncover it, and I think you got to start from scratch. You've got to start with the basic foundation of a lot of the blind spots are they don't have their footing in the right market.
Okay.
They're if you're trying to invest in a market, let's say like Denver, right? I mean, you're paying a couple $100,000 per door. So that gets expensive. You're buying a
Sure.
5-unit building for $1 million,
Right.
right? Where so that's one of the biggest blind spots. The other blind spot is they don't really know what it's going to take once you get into the building. And there are all kinds of these rules of thumb out there. The 1% rule, as far as your rent be 1%
Right.
of your purchase price, or there's all these things, right? Or the Mayo, maximum allowable offer, and
Sure.
things like that, right? But that's like good enough for back of the napkin, just as you're taking the initial call of the lead, I
Absolutely.
would say,
Right. Yeah.
kind of to get you in the ballpark, right? It's kind of like is this even worth another minute of my time? But too many people are trying to like buy and make long-term investments off of that advice.
Got it.
And so where we start is we roll it all the way back to market analysis, and then really building a true network and team of brokers. Because another thing people will do is they'll log on to any of the apartment sites or commercial real estate
Sure.
sites, and they'll just say, well, what can I find today? When in reality, there's so many more properties behind the scenes. And
Pocket,
if you get
baby.
connected,
Yeah.
exactly, you
Yeah.
get those pocket listings, get those relationships built with the brokers. So that's what I preach is
Love
is
it.
building those connections, and then going into actually evaluating the building. And then you've got to get into the whole game of negotiating. I
There
mean,
you go.
commercial real estate negotiations is a whole different ball game
Another
than
beast.
single family. I mean,
Right.
you've got guys that it's just you can get a big wide gamut, and then you could get some real sharks in commercial real
Sure.
estate that'll just put the screws to you. So you've got to be able to negotiate and know where you've got leverage, because if you simply just say no or freeze up, you lose the deal.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
I love it. I love it. So if someone's coming to you to learn about commercial real estate, again, the prospect or whatnot, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say, let's see, I'm trying to think what is the most common. Yeah, I would say honestly, it starts with it starts with their market.
Okay.
And I think they don't ask because they don't know to ask. They don't think they could ever do commercial real estate investing outside of their own backyard.
Right.
And
Okay.
they just start to analyze their own market, and they never ask like, hey, what makes a good market, right? What are
Hmm.
the indicators? What are
Right.
the indicators in a market where I can make this basically a math problem, right? I can take all the emotion out of it. I mentioned Omaha and Kansas City. Yeah, we have family ties there, but my brother and I took like 24 markets across the country, and we analyzed them up and down as far as trends over the last like 20 years. And we analyzed them up and down, and then landed on those
Sure.
because of the math of it.
Love it. I love it. So yeah. So I love that answer. If I was kind of coming to you, and I'm going to ask you right now, tell me about a deal that didn't work out the way you thought it was going to. A little bit of a fail. Let's
Yeah,
be a little transparent here. You
absolutely,
don't have to
absolutely.
dive into the whole deal, but just kind of give the 30,000-foot view of it.
Yeah. So I mean, this one was actually earlier this year. We had a contract on a small apartment building, and we got into it, and this happens, but generally it goes a little differently. So
Sure.
it was direct to seller, and we got in there. It was another family that was managing this building, and we got in there, and we realized we had seen everything we needed to see from a quick video walkthrough, because I will ask for a video walkthrough so I can do a lot of my due diligence before I ever leave my desk. You know, I don't want to hop on a plane every single week to go look at a deal that's not going to be a deal.
Love it.
Right.
Right.
So I get on a plane, it's back to Nebraska. And this deal is actually in Lincoln, so just outside Omaha. And we go through it. Everything checks out on the inside. We get up to the final floor, which was unoccupied. And we start to see that there had been water that's coming in from the roof.
You start seeing sunlight.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Seriously. So we looked at it, and we started asking, well, when was the last time the roof was replaced? You start asking these questions.
Sure.
And the seller says, well, yeah, I don't think it's been replaced while we owned it. I asked, well, did you have it inspected when you bought it? No, of course they didn't. So he had no idea this was an issue, right? And so now he has to go take this back to the family who's not in state, and it just became this like game of telephone.
Sure.
Right. And so, I talk about being able to negotiate, and sometimes you get those wild cards,
right,
where just no matter what I gave to this guy. I mean, we brought in multiple roofers. We helped him go to his insurance company and try to file a claim.
Right.
It ended up being an asbestos roof.
Ooh.
So I started doing a quick Google search. Obviously, they had not manufactured asbestos shingles since 1989.
Right.
So I was like, well, the roof is minimum 30 years old,
Yeah.
And so it just got to this point where you sometimes get these wild cards where they're just not receptive to anything you're trying to tell them.
Right.
And so the fact that there were literal shingles missing off the roof and you could see daylight through the roof.
Right.
In Lincoln, Nebraska, it's humid, it rains a lot,
and
it snows a lot, it gets super cold, right?
Yeah.
So, the weather, the elements had really taken a toll on that building. And we just weren't able to get over that hump of them coming to terms with the actual condition of the building. Okay. Right. So it was one of those, it was kind of a failure. You spend a lot of money to get out there, get all your inspectors lined up for the day, sure, do all your due diligence, and then only to find out, they're not able to come to terms with the truth about their building. And like I said, it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
You'd obviously love it to go the other way, right? I did all my due diligence, did what I could.
It could be front, a time suck a little bit, and that sucks.
It was. Yeah, it was.
Gotcha.
You spend a couple of days out of the state and working on it, and then another few days trying to negotiate with them, and it kills you.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I've been through those, absolutely. So how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date, your expiration date, that life date, death date. How do you want your dash remembered?
I want to be remembered as somebody who helped other people reach their goals, but I also want to be remembered as somebody who challenged people to reach those goals. And so I'm the kind of person that will look you in the eyes and challenge your way of thinking for no other reason other than to get you to think outside the box, or to get you to try to defend and rationalize where you're at.
Right.
And I think if you can do that, then first off, I'll learn from you.
Absolutely.
And, if you can't, then hopefully we can come to hopefully we can kind of collectively put our brains together and come to a consensus conclusion. So
love it.
You're
a living legacy, man. That's also, I can see what you're doing with your life. So what do you think is the big thing that you really want to accomplish in your life, Brooks?
The big thing I would say is I want to be able to simply teach.
Okay.
Teach. And that's why, coaching and teaching has become one of my biggest passions. I kind of knew it at a younger age that I always naturally take the lead in group situations. But I didn't ever really realize that it manifested as a coach or a teacher. I think that's really where my passion is getting in front of people, whether it's speaking on a stage or courses or one-on-one coaching, whatever it is, just the ability to teach and see other people use the stuff that I use to then succeed is the greatest pleasure to me.
I love that. So what would your definition of a life well lived be?
Life well lived would be a life full of travel, a life full of golf, a life full of real estate investments that provide that for me.
Sure.
I don't think I've ever, I know it can't happen without real estate. So I don't want people to think I'm
It's a
like
great vehicle,
waiting.
isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think I'm waking up, with stars in my eyes about
Right.
the joys of everything that comes with real estate investing. But I understand that it is, it's the vehicle to achieve all of that. So
I love it.
Golf, travel. I have a girlfriend that I would be, that I'll be settling down with, and
Nice.
starting a family. So I've always envisioned, a family, and then especially with my parents, I want to give back to them
There you
what
go.
they've given to me.
Love it.
So that's one of my biggest things is to be able to. I joke about it all the time, is push them into retirement.
There you go.
It's, at some point soon, we're going to have the conversation, and I'm going to say, all right, get out.
Dime.
My brother and I are taking out.
Love it. So we're going to wind things down with our leveling up lightning round. And you and I could talk 15, 20 minutes, maybe even an hour on each one of these questions. We got 5 seconds with no explanations. My producer is going to hold you to that. Okay.
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right, so let's level up. What's the best leveling up advice Brooks has ever received?
Find a mentor.
Love it. Share one of the personal habits that contributes to your success.
Working out.
Okay, excellent. Other than your own website, Shamrock Capital Group LLC.com, and of course, TimeToShineToday.com, my shameless plug. What's another website that you go to level up?
Ooh, Facebook groups.
Beautiful. That's a great answer. Facebook and LinkedIn, man. You can't beat them if you find the right groups, right? All right.
Exactly.
So not what you're reading now, not the flavor of the month, but if I'm in my doldrums, just not feeling it, you're like, Fergie, read this book. What is it?
Ooh, How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Carnegie, baby. Love it. Love it. What's your most commonly used emoji?
Laughing, crying face.
Sideways or upright?
Upright.
All right. Oh, man. Gotcha. What's your favorite charity and organization you like to give your time and money to?
Ooh, there's a handful. I'll say Wounded Warrior Umpire Academy.
Thank you for saying that, man, for my fellow vets. Beautiful. So what is, last question, you can expand on this one just a little bit, but what's the best decade of music? 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
90s.
90s. Are you 90s, baby?
Yes.
All right, my man.
Yep.
Hey, Brooks, how can we find you, man?
So Instagram, just like you, is the easiest way. I've got definitely, that's my favorite app. Instagram, just Brooks O'Hearn, all one word, no spaces. And actually, I mean, you can find me there on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Brooks O'Hearn. And that's the easiest way to connect with me on Instagram. I love to share stories out there. I'm sharing, teaching tips as well as just funny moments and stuff.
You're there. It's an awesome Instagram page, folks. So
I appreciate
scroll down after you're done listening and look up Brooks's Instagram. It's fantastic. And squad, we have just had really our own personal masterclass for free for my good friend Brooks here, who does a lot of things by the BRRR method, where he buy, renovates, rents, refinances, and of course, repeat. He's going to remind you to go with the flow. There's going to be stress in the business, but stay level-headed. And you can do that by surrounding yourself with the right team, which if you're wanting to get into the commercial real estate arena, this is the right team that you want to be introduced to. So reach out to me. I'd be happy to put you in touch with Brooks and his team. If you're starting out into the commercial real estate, it's going to ask yourself, what makes a good market? And then as you're doing the deals, take your emotion out of it. Remember to take the emotion out of it. Make it a math problem, like Brooks said. And if math problems, it works out, it's going to work out for your end game. So take your emotion out of it. He wants to be remembered as somebody who helped others reach their goals, but while he's helping you reach them, that challenge you to be even set higher goals the next time. His big thing in life that he wants to accomplish is to really simply teach and coach people how he became a success. And if there's no better definition of a go-giver than that. He's all about the traveling, the golf, the real estate investing. He's going to remind you, as you're starting, his number one thing, find a mentor. And you found him right now. If you want to get into commercial real estate, you can put you together into the Shamrock Capital Group LLC's team, and Brooks can take it from there. And Brooks, thank you so much for coming on. You level up your health, you level up your wealth, you're family oriented, you earn your varsity squad letter over here. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We look forward to collaborating with you in the future.
I appreciate you having me on, Scott. It's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Talk soon.